Hello everyone, this is Peak Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another video for you, and we're going to talk about and give some thoughts on the recent announcement that Cobra Kai was renewed for its 6th and final season. Now there might be spoilers throughout for all 5 previous seasons of the show, so just beware when going into this overall video. And you can check out my coverage of those seasons of the series, and I'll leave some links within the description. Now, as mentioned, it was announced yesterday on Friday the 20th of January 2023 via multiple social media posts from all creators and actors that the long-running series will be finally coming to an end. There was no behind-the-scenes drama or controversy here, nothing to do with lack of ratings or viewers, as Cobra Kai has been one of the strongest and consistent performers for Netflix. I just believe it was felt by both Netflix, Sony in many ways, and also the creators, that this was the right time for the show to end, and when reflecting on this, we asked the question as to whether it was the right decision, and ultimately, I do think it is. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you'll know that I've deemed Cobra Kai the best television streaming series for at least the last 3 to 4 years. It remains the blueprint in how to reinvigorate a classic IP or franchise, hence we're talking about the Karate Kid movies from the 1980s, by staying faithful to the original continuity whilst also being easily accessible for new audiences to enjoy as well. It's probably been the best example of that since the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the show itself began way back in 2018 on the YouTube Red Premium service for 2 seasons before migrating over to Netflix in 2020 for the next 4 seasons, including this upcoming 6th season. Continuing from the Karate Kid franchise, it focused on the antagonist from the first movie, Johnny Lawrence, falling from grace and trying to rebuild his life by starting up the Cobra Kai Karate Dojo brand for training students in the ways of karate. Lawrence himself was a former champion who lost to the 1984 Blue Valley Tournament final to Daniel LaRusso, the main protagonist for the first 3 Karate Kid movies. The series would see the reigniting of their rivalry that would also impact the younger generation of students, including Johnny's son Robbie and Daniel's daughter Samantha. It would see Johnny form a strong bond with young Ecuadorian teenager Miguel Diaz, who he saves from bullies in the streets and teaches him the ways of Cobra Kai. The show expanded on its younger characters with the likes of Hawk, Alicia, Tori and Dimitri, and it would also bring back more famous antagonists of the films such as Cobra Kai creator John Kreese, his partner in the brand in the 3rd movie Terry Silver, Chow Zen, who was the main villain in the 2nd movie, and also another student, Mike Barnes, who of course was one of the main antagonists in part 3. And the show captivated fans with its mixture of action, comedy, romance and drama. Whilst in a modern day setting, the show's roots were still very linked to the 80s era of the films, both in terms of tone and spirit. So after all that then, why is it the right time to end the show if it's having such a great success and traction with viewers and original fans? Well, all great shows can't last forever. Eventually they do have to close out at some point, and I think in terms of the story and where it was heading, there really isn't much more where they can really take it. Both Daniel and Johnny are now in their 50s, how long can they keep bickering about the ways of karate? And the last couple of seasons have involved them much more as a team up against either Kreese or Silver. And for all of their great presence within the show, it does stretch credibility a little bit that both Kreese and Silver, as well in their elderly years, would still get involved with teenagers fighting karate. It seems with them and also Chow Zen that we've used up now all of the famous characters from the franchise, so where do you go next without things feeling too repetitive? And we look at the newer characters continually growing up, and at some stage they will want to move on from all of the teenage rivalries and karate to the next stage of their lives. So how far can you keep stretching that narrative also? Now, as we've seen recently in both seasons 4 and 5, we've started to introduce even younger characters to the series, but even if they became more established, you are kind of repeating the same story beats that what we've seen previously before. Now, in previous reviews, I've stated that the one big concern throughout the show was that the series would overstay its welcome, and that, as with everything in life, we'd likely see diminishing returns in both the quality and the storytelling the longer that the show went on. We also hope that the show doesn't drop the ball in its final year like what we've seen with other famous series. The biggest example, of course, was Game of Thrones. Very much a transcendent show with audiences. Now, after its flawed final 8th season, the show is never viewed in the same positive light as what it was in the previous seasons before. And I wouldn't want this to happen with Cobra Kai. And to be honest, I don't think it will. I think the creators have such a good grip on the story and characters that I believe that they will stick the landing with a satisfactory conclusion. We'll likely see the younger characters moving on. Maybe Miguel and Sam will end up together, or Robbie and Tori will end up together. I probably envisage a final tournament where we will see Robbie finally become the victor. He's lost in a couple of finals now, and also maybe Samantha, who's lost in a couple of finals, also emerge victorious to really bring a cyclical end to the overall story with both Johnny and Daniel. I think we'll get a sense of closure and redemption for Johnny. Him and Carmen are also expecting a baby in this final season. So in many ways, he's already rebuilt his life. So again, where can you keep taking the character going forward? And I can really envisage a likely final deciding matchup between him and Daniel behind closed doors, very similar to Rocky and Apollo, what we saw at the end of Rocky 3, to ultimately settle the final score between them. Ultimately, I think that would be the best finale. Even with the likes of Kreese very much hinting at being the final antagonist, I do believe that we will see some form of redemption of him and also Silver as well. So I think this would be the best way to wrap everything up. But again, we'll get a further hint as to where they will take the story going forward when the first trailer drops. And I also wouldn't be surprised if we do get some dangling setups for any future spin-offs. The show has been majorly successful, and as we all know, within studios and Hollywood, when you have something that's successful, you try to milk it and keep it going as much as possible. We've seen that recently with The Walking Dead coming to an end, but it's still generating 3 spin-off series after that featuring the main characters. But going back to Cobra Kai for now, I think whilst many fans will be sad at the news of the show coming to an end, I do believe it's the right decision, and at least the show will be able to end on its own terms, which is always the right way to do things. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings and reflection on the recent announcement of Cobra Kai coming to an end within its 6th season. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this is the right time for the show to end? Or do you think there was further mileage and expansion, particularly with the younger characters that we've seen recently? Do you think there was enough there for the show to continue for maybe 1 or 2 more seasons? Or do you think we would have seen more diminishing returns and that this is the time to bring everything to an end? Let me know what you think in the comments. And as usual, with all other series and shows that I cover, when the show arrives, I will provide, of course, season reviews and any episode standouts, and just give an overall reflection at the end of how successful Cobra Kai has been, not only for the franchise but also I believe for entertainment and culture in general as well. So look out for all of that future content within the channel. And if you have any other suggestions regarding any movies or television series or any other issues that you'd like to see me cover within entertainment, then also let me know within the comments, and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on those topics in the future. Please also hit and like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very, very soon.